Hi Tailoring Talkers, Roberto here, and long overdue, haven't done anything in the car for a while, but it's not the car that a lot of you G87 lot want me to be in. I'm in the TT, and there's a reason for it. I'm having problems with BMW. Welcome back. New and old alike. If you're watching this, please help us out by dropping a like. You can also find the hype button underneath the window, so give us some of your hype points for this week. And you can also subscribe for free, and if you've got a bit of spare change down the back of the sofa, you can help support us by picking one of our channel memberships. Anyway, I am in the Audi TT, my wife's car, because the BMW has been with BMW for almost a week, and it's been out of action for a month. Now, where do I start? So basically, the problem is that the car flashed up with a hazard light on the dashboard, and the dipped beam headlamp has failed. And that's something that obviously the car's got to go in for. Now, it happened on a day, I've owned my G87 since December 2024. The day after I picked it up, I went straight to CT Carbon to get the body kit put on, and we also swapped out the DRLs for the yellow DRL module. And it's worked absolutely fine. Those of you that are regulars will have seen my car in action, and you'll have seen shots of it with those yellow DRL modules, and most of you, if not all of you, have said the car looks fantastic. So no problems whatsoever. One thing that I have noticed since day one on my car is the condensation build-up, particularly on the left headlamp, which funny enough is now the one that has gone. I called BMW to put the car in early October, and they said it couldn't be looked at until mid-November. So that was the first problem that I had, that I was then going to be out of pocket, because I'm obviously paying for the car with BMW Finance, and I'm not going to be able to use the car for at least 6 weeks. Well, they said 6 weeks before they could get it in, and then it would be however long, stick your thumb up in the air, for them to actually diagnose the problem. And then it would be obviously whatever the repair time would be on top of that. I complained to BMW Financial Services because I wasn't happy. I'm paying for a car that I'm not going to have use of. And they were actually really understanding. They took me through their complaints process. They've opened a live complaint, and they explained that I should keep making my PCP payments, but then once my car was back and everything was resolved, they would then look at the time that I've been without the car, and they would refund that money. It did take a stern conversation and escalating to a supervisor to get that far, because the call agent that initially handled the call, when I explained that they were responsible for the car and it being roadworthy, etc., whilst it was on a live finance agreement, the first agent I spoke to said, no, that's not the case. You're effectively using our finance to buy the car from us. Therefore, you are buying it with the intention of owning it, and you are responsible. And according to consumer law, that's not how it works. So anyway, I asked for a manager, spoke to someone else who was much, much nicer and far more reasonable, and that's where we got to. So we got a live complaint open with BMW Finance, fine. The next thing I did is I got in touch with BMW Park Lane and explained the situation to them, and I've got a good relationship with Park Lane. Their customer service on that end is very, very good. So they managed to push the timing for me and bring it forward. So my sales manager there, Martin, who is fantastic, he managed to get them to book the car in for a week ago, which at the time of recording would be the 25th of October or something. So fine. So I take the car there on a Saturday because I'm too busy during the week. And I speak to the service manager there, and I mentioned that I've got non-OEM DRLs fitted so that they're aware. And I showed him photographs taken of the car from the past year, and some of the videos as well that I've done for the channel, that clearly show this condensation build-up on the left headlamp. Now, the first thing he jumped and said was, condensation build-up on the headlamps is perfectly normal, and they have air vents that then clear the condensation. Now, I'd have thought that, and some of you that are more technically knowledgeable than I am will hopefully help out in the comments. And the reason I'm making this video is because when good things happen or bad things happen, you know, in the comment section on this channel with the car community, a lot of buying decisions have been made, a lot of modding decisions have been made, and obviously when there are problems, people are able to sort of share their own experiences and help each other out. So hopefully now some of you will be able to help me out. So he was obviously banging on about the non-OEM DRL modules, and I said to him, look, I said, if it was a DRL problem, I assume that the car would be saying it's a daytime running light issue, not what it is saying, which is you've got a problem with your main beam and your dipped headlamp on the left side. And I also caveated that by saying those modules have been fitted since day one, so they've been in the car for almost a year and they have had no problems whatsoever. But the one thing I can show you, and I can show you historical photographs that show that left headlamp has got an excessive buildup of condensation, and condensation plus electricity, presumably not such a great thing. And also, I've been on forums, I've been on Bimmer Post and so on, where other people worldwide have had this problem, not just with the G87, but there are a number of G80 owners and other G whatever cars that have had this problem with the headlamp blowing out due to excessive condensation. So obviously I said to him, look, I think you need to troubleshoot for that, and then obviously if you find that it is none of those things and the only thing that is left is the DRL modules, then we'll deal with it then. But the fact that they're non-OEM should have no bearing on what your responsibility is under warranty. Okay, fine. So he was quite reasonable about that. They then made me sign a service document which had a load of prices on it. And my wife straight away said, don't sign that, because they're basically making you sign up for all of these different charges and labour charges. And their labour charges, like guys and girls, you would throw up. It's like, I need to check the facts, but it's like 280, 300 quid an hour. They then said to me that if I didn't sign it, they would not be able to look at the car. So we will not look at your car under warranty unless you sign that document to say that you're happy to be liable for any costs arising from this whole saga. What choice did I have? So I kind of just quickly scribbled in the wrong place on the thing. So that's that. So Saturday happens. Monday, don't hear anything. Tuesday, don't hear anything. So Wednesday I chase them, and then one of the service guys emails me and says, and I haven't got the emails here, I can't look at them because I'm obviously driving. I'll try and screenshot them and put them up on the screen for you. But it was something about, you've got non-OEM DRLs fitted, before we can continue diagnosing, they need to be removed and the originals need to be fitted. So at some point he rang me and we had a conversation over the phone, and he said, do you have the original modules? And I said, actually, do you know what? I don't think I do, because I think CT Carbon swapped them, but then they didn't give them back to me, and I just didn't think to ask for them because I didn't think this was ever going to be a problem. And certainly I've not thought about it for 10 months because it hasn't been a problem. So I said, don't you have these parts there that you can just swap them out and just check if that is causing the problem or not? And he said, well, if we do that, it's going to cost you the part, which is 225 plus VAT, plus the labour to fit them. So it's going to be in the region of 800 quid plus VAT. And I was like, sorry, hang on a minute. So you're going to charge me 800 quid plus VAT to swap the DRL modules out, which is literally a case of jacking the car up, taking the front wheels off, and then pulling out the module and putting another module in, and then sticking the wheels back on. He said, yeah. He said, unless you take the car back, you swap out the modules yourself or get them to do it and then bring the car back to us. So I'm like, hang on a second. So I'm actually going away next week, so I won't be able to get the car until mid-November. So I picked the car up mid-November, Then I've got to book an appointment with CT Carbon. CT Carbon, by the way, I spoke to Harry at CT Carbon, and big shout out to those guys, because we did have problems with the body kit. They sorted it. And the DRL issue, as soon as Harry heard it, he was like, look, don't worry about it. You know, we've never had a problem with these modules. They've been fitted to the CT Carbon G87 car for ages, no issues whatsoever, and we've had no issues with any of the ones that we've sold since. But he said, obviously, BMW are always going to do this and look for an excuse. But he said, Bobby, don't worry about it. Bring the car up to us. We'll swap them out. It happens that they have got my original DRL modules because they kept them in the workshop, which was really good of them. And he said, we'll swap them out and then you can take the car back to them. But then I'm thinking, I'm going to be driving a car that's got a headlamp failure, risk getting stopped by the cops. I can't drive it at night for sure. And now the clocks have gone back. It gets dark at like 4 o'clock. And then with their booking system being so laid up, I'm probably not even going to get this looked at till January at this rate. December if I'm lucky. And then God knows what's going to happen. Had to have a bit of a long think about everything. And I was kind of livid as well. Because they'd done no diagnosis. They just let the car sit there for 2 or 3 days. Done no diagnosis on it. And then obviously the first time they've switched the engine on, this guy's seen the yellow DRLs. And then they've basically just gone, right, that's it, we're stopping at square one. Which by law is not what they're supposed to do. And again, I'll see if I can find the email, and I'll put a shot up of the email that I sent. But I did my homework. I used AI to research consumer law with regards to vehicle warranties, specifically BMW, etc., etc. Basically, what I found out is that under consumer law, they can't refuse warranty service unless they can prove a causal effect that the non-OEM part, and in this case it's a DRL module, it could be anything, you know, it could be your exhaust, it could be that you change the suspension, which a lot of you have done on this channel. Yeah, so a lot of you have changed your suspension setups and stuff, and you've not gone with the BMW one, you've gone with IBACs or whatever. They need to prove that your non-OEM part is causing a problem. But that doesn't mean that the onus of, you know, the burden of proof is not on the consumer. The burden of proof is on, in this case, BMW. Again, with ChatGPT's help, I put a letter together. The AI also recommended that I copy BMW Financial Services and create the complaint reference so that the service team would know that I have a live complaint open with BMW Financial Services, because it said that would put them on notice that this is already a much bigger issue and that they cannot be dismissive of me. On screen, hopefully right now, I've got my email for you so that you can see it. A day went by, didn't hear from them. Yesterday, so today's Friday, Thursday, I got a short email, one line saying, I have spoken to my manager about this. If you could arrange for CT Carbon to send the modules to us, we will continue the investigation. No mention of charging me for doing that, so I assume, probably stupidly, that they're not going to, but I think the letter was clear enough that they cannot charge for doing that. So far result, and Harry at CT Carbon has very kindly offered to post them directly to the service guy that's dealing with this. I am blanking the name of the people at BMW service that are involved, because I don't think it's fair to name and shame them, because again, the problem is still outstanding and it hasn't been resolved yet, and hopefully they will resolve it satisfactorily, and then I will be doing another little video to praise them if they deserve it, and by the same token, if they don't and it ends up in a nightmare, there'll be another video as well. So that's where we are. So Harry at CT Carbon is emailing the guy firstly to make a declaration on my behalf to say that their DRL modules have not to date ever caused any kind of problem, and also he is going to get the modules posted directly to BMW for me as well. I'm away next week, so I hope I don't hear from them until I get back, because I'm going on a short break. We've put so much content through the channel in the last few weeks, and I am absolutely exhausted and burnt out, so I need to get out of town for a bit. I need to take myself away from work. I need to take myself away from the YouTube channel, and I just need to give myself a break. It is exhausting, and to be honest, financially, for those of you that think that we've been getting hundreds of thousands of views in the last month or so, that we're suddenly making a lot of money, we're not. To give you an example, let me know if you get this far in this video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a video on how much we earned on a short that that hit over 250,000 views. Let me know if you want to know how much money we made on that short. Spoiler alert, it's not as much as you think it might be, but it is exhausting. John, Alex and I, we really enjoy creating content now, and we enjoy getting together, the three of us, when we can, and even doing our solo stuff. And John absolutely loved creating the Lego build videos for you guys recently, but it is exhausting. Anyway, so I'm taking myself away from everything for a few days, just to do some self-care and stuff. And spend some quality time with my wife as well, because God knows she misses me, because I'm just always locked either with my day job or I'm editing and recording and stuff. So when I get back, hopefully I'll have some good news, that they'll have received those DRL modules, they'll have swapped them out, they'll have found that the fault is still showing, and then they'll sort that bloody headlamp out, so I can get my bloody M2 back and drive it, because I miss it so much. And if it ends in tears and they make life really difficult, part of me is thinking that I will end up stumping up whatever it is, getting that headlamp fixed. And I've already got a couple of offers on my G87. That means I could clear the finance and still come out with maybe 10 or 12 grand. I'll just get rid of the car. Because I'm just one of those people that when things are great, they're great. But when you give me a load of you-know-what, it really puts me off you. And I will just get rid of whatever it is and go somewhere else. And I really, really don't want to do that over a headlamp. So there we go, that's where we're at. If anyone else has had any experience with aftermarket DRLs causing problems with their headlamps, please let me know. And if any of you have had any experience of headlamps, DRLs, not causing any problems, let me know. And if any of you have had any problems with your cars recently, it doesn't have to be a BMW, certainly doesn't have to be an M2, but of any kind, and you've run into warranty issues, let's start a chat in the comments, and let's, maybe help each other to offload a bit, and also help each other to solve some problems. So there we go. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we will get this done. Another tip for you, by the way, is after I did, I think, one of my initial emails, and then they emailed me, I basically copied and pasted that email, and I told the AI chat, by the way, I've just had an email from them, I've just copied and pasted it here for you. And then basically the bot reads it, and then it references it with whatever it needs to reference, with regards to consumer law, etc. And then it updated my draft email for me, which was really, really cool. So we made sure that whatever we were sending was bang up to date and was dealing with every single little thing that they were doing that was wrong. So yeah, definitely, we're living in an age where we've got so many tools at our disposal now that can do deep research for us, cross-reference cases and news articles and things like that. You have to fact check everything, and I did with this as well. I've got clients that are solicitors, etc., and very kindly, a couple of them had a look over my draft email before I sent it. Because it takes these guys know their stuff, right? So it literally takes them 30 seconds to cast an eye over it and then say, yeah, just send it, it's fine. But it just saves a lot of time, aggravation and so on. And also it teaches these people on the car service side of things that we're not idiots, that we've got access to information. You can't just tell us whatever bullshit and expect us just to believe it. Like, we need to swap your DRLs for OEM ones, and we need to charge you for the part and the labour, and it's going to be the best part of £1,000. And in days gone by, most people would have fallen for that and gone, oh, okay, fine. But not in this day and age. I think the fact that he went so quiet for over a day, and then it was a very short response, and also confirming that he'd had to go and speak to a manager, so probably shown my email to them as well, so they'd had a chat about it internally. But that policy as well of when you book your car in and they make you sign a waiver to say that you will be responsible for service charges and things. I think the term that the AI had me use in my draft was something like I was made to sign that document under duress, and that is not in line with our consumer rights. So it's not enforceable either. But he must have taken it back to his manager, and they've had a really good, long, hard look at it, had an internal discussion, and then, you know, sort of been like, okay, fine, well, you know, we better take his offer of getting the originals in and just swap them out and carry on the investigation. It's not even a case of carrying on the investigation. They've not investigated anything, because also in that letter, I asked them to confirm what investigations had been carried out so far, and have they consulted BMW UK Technical. And he didn't confirm either of those things, and because he didn't confirm them, it tells me that none of those things have been done. They've not looked at the car yet. They've just switched it on. Someone in the workshop has gone, oh look, he's got yellow DRLs he has, and then they've just stopped. And I'm not taking it. And I want my car back. This TT, by the way, is great. It's very underpowered, because when you're comparing near 500 horsepower to 200, but do you know what? It's a nice little driver. It is based on the Golf platform for running around London. You know, it's great. It does the job. It keeps me out of trouble. My wife's Hyundai hasn't blown up again yet, so she's not bothered because she's using that anyway. And I have got a car to get around in the meantime. But still, I just miss coming out of my house and seeing my beautiful M2 parked there. So BMW, if you're watching, sort my frigging car out, please. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, please consider subscribing, hitting that hype button, hitting the like button, and make sure if you've got things to say and you've got things to contribute, please do join in the comments, and let's get together and have some conversations and sort some stuff out for each other. It's all going off here in northwest London, so I will leave you now. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.